New Jersey is 8,700 square miles. That is smaller than Lake Michigan. It is one of the smallest states in the entire country, and yet somehow, against all logic, we have people out here claiming there are 3 of them. North Jersey, South Jersey, and Central Jersey, which is either a real place with a real identity or it is the world's most elaborate cope from people who didn't want to pick a side. Today we are settling this debate. We are going all the way in. We are going back to the 1600s. We are going forward to 2026. And by the end of this video, you are going to have an opinion and a strong one. And you are going to go write it in the comments, because arguing on YouTube is exactly the type of thing New Jerseyans love to spend their free time on. Let's start with the argument that Central Jersey doesn't exist, and we're going back to the beginning, because if you want to understand why this fight exists, you have to go back to a time when there was no pork roll, no Taylor ham, no turnpike, not even a governor. We are going back to 1674, when the British, who were fantastic at drawing borders through places and leaving, divided New Jersey into 2 separate colonies, East Jersey and West Jersey. 2 separate governments with 2 separate constitutions. East Jersey's capital was Perth Amboy, and West Jersey's capital was Burlington. They weren't vaguely different. They were legally different countries. You wouldn't be arrested in one for a crime you committed in the other. They had different governments, different laws. The whole thing was a mess. And the line they drew, the actual border between East and West Jersey in the 1600s, can still be traced in the county boundaries today. A line drawn by British surveyors 350 years ago still physically exists inside the state. The British left, the line stayed. Here's the thing about that line. It cut the state diagonally, which looks rather similar to the north-south we have today. New York side versus Philadelphia side, not thirds, because that is the natural logic of this state. Benjamin Franklin, who spent his entire life explaining things to people who didn't want to hear it, called New Jersey a barrel tapped at both ends, New York on one end and Philadelphia on the other. That was his observation in the 1700s, and many people believe it is still correct. Benjamin Franklin has been dead for over 2 centuries, and he is still more right about New Jersey than the governor. If you want more evidence, when they set up the telephone area codes, New Jersey got 2. 201 for the north, 609 for the south, not 3, 2. The people who designed the entire phone infrastructure for the state, people who were paid specifically to think about this, looked at New Jersey and said, 2 halves. That's it. Done. They did not leave room for a third region, because a third region did not exist to them, because the state is the size of a large parking lot, and you don't subdivide a parking lot into 3 zones unless you're a very insecure parking lot. Now let's talk culture, because this is where the anti-Central Jersey argument is at its absolute strongest. North Jersey is Taylor ham. It is subs. It is the Giants, the Yankees, and the general worldview that New York City is the center of human civilization and everything else is a place you drive through to get somewhere. North Jersey people have a very clear identity. They know who they are. They are loud. They are fast. They have opinions about turnpike exits, and they will not be confused with anyone from any other region. South Jersey is pork roll. It is hoagies. It is Jimmy's. And if you're from North Jersey and you just went, what are Jimmy's? That's exactly the point. That right there, that's the culture gap I'm talking about. South Jersey says Jimmy's. North Jersey says sprinkles. There is no compromise position on this. Central Jersey has none of this. There is no Central Jersey word for a sandwich. There is no Central Jersey sports team that people bleed for. There is no Central Jersey thing that Central Jersey uniquely does. What there is overlap. And here is the thing about overlap. Overlap is not a culture. Overlap is what happens when you don't fully commit to anything. Overlap is what happens when you can see both the New York and Philadelphia channels, and instead of picking one, you just watch a lot of PBS. And if you grew up somewhere in that middle corridor getting both TV markets, you know which one you actually watched. You had a team. Don't pretend you were above it. Having 2 satellite networks in range doesn't mean you had your own thing going. And then there's the part when South Jersey tried to leave. This actually happened. In 1980, South Jersey's counties held a non-binding referendum to secede from New Jersey and form the 51st state. They wanted to draw a line at I-195 and just go. Pack up, start over, new state, new identity, probably new sandwiches, who knows. The only county that voted against it was Ocean County, which, by the way, is now considered debatable Central Jersey territory, which tells you everything you need to know about Ocean County's sense of self. They were done with North Jersey calling all the shots, taking all the money, building the Meadowlands while the Garden State Park racetrack rotted in the South. They were furious enough to try to become their own state, and we're supposed to believe that somewhere between these two groups, the North Jersey people who have never once considered that the South exists, and the South Jersey people who are literally trying to take a portion of the turnpike with them and leave, there is a third group of people calmly enjoying the best of both worlds. The most argumentative state in America has a middle region where everyone's chill and balanced? No. That's not how this place works. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the other side, the people who firmly believe Central Jersey exists. Let's start with the fact that the governor of New Jersey signed a law on August 24th, 2023, declaring Central Jersey real. Bill S. 3206 signed at a ceremony in Somerville. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is public record. The man stood in front of a map, held a pen, signed his name, and said, "Today we settle the decades-old debate once and for all. Central Jersey exists, period." The word period was in the quote. He was not playing around. Now, I know what the skeptics are going to say. They're going to say this was a tourism bill. They needed the economic development. Central Jersey's tourism was down 20% after the pandemic, and they wanted the state to send some marketing money in that direction. To which I say, so what? You cannot unsign it. It's done. Central Jersey is on the tourism map now. You want to argue with the map? Take it up with the Division of Travel and Tourism. Now let's talk about geography, the actual physical, undeniable geography of the state. The state capital, Trenton. The building where all the laws are made, the seat of New Jersey government, the place from which right now, at this moment, the entire state is being administered. That is in Mercer County, and Mercer County is one of the 4 official Central Jersey counties in the 2023 law. The people who decide what is legally real in New Jersey work in Central Jersey. They literally signed the Central Jersey Bill from Central Jersey. And there is a quote about this that is so accurate it should be in a textbook. If you're from the north, Trenton is in South Jersey. If you're from the south, Trenton is in North Jersey, which means the state capital has no home. In the traditional 2-region model, Trenton is an actual historically significant city where George Washington crossed the Delaware River and immediately attacked people in a snowstorm. That city belongs to nobody. Both sides have decided it belongs to the other one. That is not a functional framework for understanding a state. You can't just orphan your own capital. Here's what Central Jersey actually is, and this is where the argument gets genuinely interesting. It is the place where the gravity from both cities stops canceling each other out and starts creating something new. Not confused, but mixed. And mixed is real. Mixed is its own thing. You can walk into a diner in Central Jersey and order either Taylor ham or pork roll without anybody making a face. The diner is not having an identity crisis. The diner is more evolved than everyone arguing in the comments section. Giants fans and Eagles fans grew up on the same block in towns like Freehold. They survived to adulthood, and they still talk to each other. That is a social achievement that neither North Jersey nor South Jersey can claim. North Jersey would never. South Jersey would never. The Central Jersey people are out here doing the impossible, living next to Eagles fans without having a stroke, and nobody's giving them credit for it. And the people who actually live there have been voting on this with their own words for years. When poll respondents in Monmouth County were given only two choices, north or south, they wrote in central. They refused the binary with their own pens in a voting booth. They created a third option that wasn't on the form. That's not a fringe position. That's a population of people who looked at the official options and said, neither of these is right. Union County residents overwhelmingly identify as central. Parts of Ocean County identify as central. These people know where they're from. And the cultural reclamation movement is completely real. A winery, Old York Cellars, put out a wine line called Central Jersey Exists. They made wine about this. They grew grapes, fermented them, put them in bottles, sent them to stores, and the label said, Central Jersey Exists. That is a level of commitment to a geographic argument that I have to respect. I don't know if the wine is good, but the dedication is unimpeachable. A nonprofit called Discover Central Jersey formed specifically to promote the region. That's a nonprofit with a board of directors and a mission statement. Presumably with some kind of office somewhere in Middlesex County. These are not people who casually think Central Jersey exists. These are people who filed with the IRS about it. Okay, so here's where it falls apart a little even for the believers. Even if you accept that Central Jersey exists, you immediately run into the question of where it starts and ends. And this is where the whole thing gets genuinely chaotic because nobody agrees. The official answer from the 2023 law is Hunterdon, Mercer, Middlesex, and Somerset minimum. But then the law adds, and I'm not making this up, that Monmouth, Ocean, and Union are debatable. The state signed a bill defining a region and then said 3 counties might also be in there, but we're not sure. The governor declared Central Jersey real with an asterisk. The asterisk is 3 counties. 3 entire counties that might or might not be in the region. They signed the paper and immediately created more arguments. Classic New Jersey. The people of this state cannot be in a room for 5 minutes without starting a new fight. The road-based theory works better. South of Route 78, north of Route 195. That's Central Jersey. You can drive it. You can feel the shift. The Driscoll Bridge theory is another. Cross the Driscoll Bridge heading south, you've left North Jersey. Cross the Toms River heading south, you've entered South Jersey. Everything between those 2 bridges, the malls, the diners, the confused sports loyalties, that's Central Jersey. So here's where I land. Central Jersey exists the way a buffer zone exists. It is real by function. Even when it's contested by identity, it is the place where the New York gravity and the Philadelphia gravity collide, and the collision creates something specific. People who will argue about whether they're from the north or the south while eating a sandwich they can't fully name, watching a game they're only half invested in, on a road they think might be Route 9 but could also be Route 1, in a town that both regions have decided belongs to the other one. That is a real, specific, lived experience. It belongs to real people. Those people deserve a name and a map and a governor with a pen. The people who don't believe in Central Jersey are usually from the ends of the state. They have too much identity invested in the binary. They need New Jersey to be clean, north or south, Taylor ham or pork roll, Giants or Eagles, because ambiguity threatens the whole structure. If Central Jersey is real, then maybe the line isn't as sharp as they thought. Central Jersey people have been explaining themselves at every dinner party, every sports conversation, every wait, are you from North or South Jersey moment for decades. And now they have a law that went through the legislature. They got it on the map. Drop your take in the comments, north, south, or central. Tell me where you're from and I'll tell you why you're wrong about the other 2.